I don't even give a fuck about this shit. I don't want to play this already. I don't want to play this already. You have to play How's my sound? Is there a lot of feedback? Or is it terrible?
We already had an argument. We had an argument already.
Y'all got me? All right. Hey, this is like to be like I'm never done.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch, go. Get up, time to wake up, bitch, get up. Get up, get up.
In ancient days, great beyond the conception of the ancient ways, wise were the wisdom of the children of light, that molded humans from wet clay, from space, the seven continents we surveyed, developing an advanced global civilization that eons later fell into disarray. The old-time version of it under the sun is not just a cliche.
They know that I'm genius status, emphatic, automatic at it, just savage, telepathic, tragic, just habit for the mathematics, it's knowledge. Time travel is homage, looking at Ra. What is the problem? Tell them what happened, humans stop it. We gon' live on when the earth is demolished. Mayan helmets, how can I tell this so you can understand what the belt is? Orion, it's too many powers given to cowards on this planet, too many gods. Slim for the pickings, earth like tramp. They call it Thickums, Charles Dickens, stick to the fiction, bitch, I'm Brian. This is prison, alien gang connect, same connect, Big Bang, butterfly effect, the main elect, the frame, the check, the tang, the tech, but I aim's the best, get a mind like me, I'm like me. You can't discover what already thinks with a neural link. My penmanship is sterling. For the wine I drink, it's time to reek like homeless freaks. Emo rapping all this week with a crystal skull. I listen to y'all. None of you niggas as wise as me. I'ma shut you down. Give them that rotation, give them that confidence. I go it alone. No way Pontius Pilate ever gon' roll with this. Cause Barabbas ain't as crafty as you think, not even in sackcloth. I seen the rules as soon as I touched that asphalt. It's that talk. For the pearl they cast in swine, beginning to earn everything I find. For the people that listen to battle rap, this is what you would call a nigga time.
Spaceland, seven senses, yeah, Palladians. What carbon salsa like an alien? How I travel constellations, reptilian, familiar. Get the fuck out of the area. 50 more reasons to bury ya. The whole world in hysteria. I painted this earth like a Assyrian, searching experience, grinding like pyramids, lining with Sirius. I am the sun and the moon of my God, shining my light with the spirits of stars, feeling that energy risen like shine at the prism, displaying that shit with my art. I had to step through the portal of thoughts, we are mortal, and signal that love out the all. Guided by Orion, I orbit the belt like Titans roll. This the full effect with no defect, I got that Spartan flow, indigo within my soul, living in a world of clones, creation, all vibration in the multiverse of future green spaceland, surfing through the galaxy, duality, my face plan. They just trying to turn my mother Gaia to a wasteland. Head up in the stars, my reality, my space fan. We in spaceland, bitch, we in spaceland. Surfing through the galaxy, duality, my face plan. They just trying to turn my mother Gaia to a wasteland. Head up in the stars, my reality, my space fan. We in spaceland, bitch, we in spaceland.
RiSE&SHiNE will manifest as kingdom set on grade. Look into the belt of Orion, see your ancestors and understand. When we are people of the old helix 12 DNA strand. We are the Atlantean intergalactic healing from the space.
At the end of the day, it's us versus us, right? It's a me versus me, I versus I scenario. We're not in ultimate competition with anyone else here. We don't have to do the prosecution, persecution, condemnation, and judgment. That's all going to be taken care of in cause and effect. You will reap what you sow in this life. I think we've all learned that or are learning that at some point. All right, let's get to a little bit of Snafu Snaps tribute. He's not dead yet. Not that we're looking for that, but while he's still here, let's honor him in life and what he's put together. And we'll watch a few moments of it, right? Why not? Snafu Snaps usually has some good information. If nothing else, it's compelling and elicits an emotion, mostly fear. Some folks might say Snafu Snaps is a fear porn peddler. Possible. But then you have to look at, is what he's putting forth true? And then how does it apply to us? And how does it inspire us to create a solution?
With Sun TV watching for any slip, he was asked which country he most admired and referred to China.
The level of admiration I actually have for China, because their basic dictatorship is allowing them.
I applaud China for stepping up. Excuse me, I applaud KiNDA. You can tell what I'm thinking.
A prime minister who openly admires the Chinese basic dictatorship, who tramples on fundamental rights by persecuting and criminalizing his own citizens as terrorists just because they dared to stand up to his perverted concept of democracy, should not be allowed to speak in this house at all. Mr. Trudeau, please spare us your presence. Thank you.
Canadians know where I stand. This is a moment for responsible leaders to think carefully about where they stand and who they stand with.
While Justin Trudeau makes a compelling case study, he is not the only dictator on the rise. Under the new rules provided by the COVID-19 emergency, many other elected leaders were empowered to show their true colors. Interesting how they all marched in perfect lockstep while chanting the same slogans.
This pandemic has provided an opportunity.
We are now with an economy of crisis, but with an incredible opportunity. Certainly a major crisis, but it also offers us a unique opportunity.
Unprecedented opportunity to rethink and reset.
The great opportunity for reset.
It's almost, now, let's be clear, as far as I perceive, right? This is why the legal lawful conversation is big and always has been for me, because whether you folks know it or not, I believe I know that that's what New World Order is all about, is destroying, if they can get it done once and for all, the notion of common law land, rights, freedom, principles, personal choice. They're going to govern the whole world based off of indoctrination through the worldwide public school system. That statute, policy, and code is law, that they can write it and they can govern their fellow man with their words and terms. That's what the Great Reset, that's what the last 4 years of slavery, that's what it's all about, as far as I perceive. And their 100-year long, 1,000-year long, you could argue, program that you could argue is like off-world or interdimensionally based. I can't prove that. Some folks have argued that. It's just marching more and more toward one world order, new world order, which is exactly what I described. The whole world being run, individuals and the whole world being run by a group, a collective of folks using policy and code that they've trained the slaves to think is law. It's pimping and hoeing again. And you're going to fuck for them and you're going to pay them. And if you don't do what they say, they're going to give you some consequences, boy. You're going to be their hoe. So we can see America, Australia, Canada, and all the rest of the common law nations with common law, common law lands with people on it who've lived by the common law, which we could call universal law. We could call it even conscience-based. Rights and freedom, principles, pursuit of happiness. That's all going away or has gone away. Now, ubiquitously, they'll all tell me, Paulie boy, shut up about the rights, freedom, and principles. You're a sovereign citizen. We all know the law, statute, policy, and code, and the corporations who write them. Chiefly the country that we call United States and its partners, State of Israel, United Kingdom. This is a worldwide endeavor of slavery and genocide. And quite frankly, they're not only going to rule all you folks with statute, policy, and code that you believe is law, they're going to kill off a good portion of you and replace you with machines, because they know that the majority of folks are not going to go for it, right? They know what they're doing. This is not a they. This is an it. I believe. I can't prove it. Very compelling argument and experience there to believe that this is a it, not a them. It's working through them, just like God works through people, right? So does the devil as a dualistic archetype. So one side wants freedom, personal choice, rights, the individual to be upheld, to be seen as valuable, right? Along with life and nature, to be prosperous, to be co-creative. And one side says the individual is a danger to the collective. It has to be controlled. It has to be dominated. It has to be regulated. It has to be ruled by the law of man, not the law of God, which is statute, policy, and code. Folks, this is a spiritual time to be alive. Always has been, but this is like the best of times, worst of times. We're at Judgment Day, conceptually. You could argue. On the timeline, the last 4 years is like, fascinating to me. And again, as much as it is fascinating to me, only because I personally, with my body, have lived through it, let's also be clear to step back from the fear to understand that this is all went on already once before. You could argue we were all already born into New World Order and the rule of man's law and statute, policy, and code and politics and political science and scientism. It's already been here, right? New normal, ironically, is a lot like old normal. So I guess you could argue we've already been born into it. That's why we can't see the forest for the trees. We're just so fucking used to it by it being here for so long in certain forms. And now seemingly it's just perfecting itself. It's evolving and adapting and really perfecting itself. And that's probably why folks like myself and others are here yelling and screaming for hundreds of days straight, regardless of how much money and things we have or don't have, because we understand that we're at a turning point here. Once again, if you folks don't stand on rights, freedom, principles, spiritual faith, if you don't make the distinction between the dual jurisdiction that I got on record at Colorado State Court, the rest of you haven't yet, all your constitutional law scholars, go pull up the record where I didn't hire an attorney and went in there and questioned everybody and got the administrator to put it on record eternally that there's a dual jurisdiction. It's not sob sit mumbo jumbo anymore. For the folks who want to ask me what the fuck I've done personally, I got it on record. I got the truth on record from the horse's mouth. You're being pimped on. There's dual jurisdiction, statute, policy, and code is not law. It's only given the force of law through the consent of the governed. Why are you folks continuing to consent? That's now the question. Now the light goes back to the public. Why are each and every one of you consenting to what's already been put on record is not the truth and not what your purpose and meaning is here in life under God? Why? You must want to go into judgment. You must want to go into disempowerment. You must want to go deeper into fascism. You must really believe you can outsmart God and the universal creative force and this simulation. You're not that smart. You're not that clever. You're not that guy, pal. Like the guy said in that video. You're not that guy, pal. That's the true humbleness and humility. You guys think I lack that? I have the absence of ego and arrogance. I've had to come under a choice and a life that I don't even like and may just wind my body up, ending badly. And I can't even care about that because of where we are and have always been and what it all means and the bigger purpose and value of who and what we are and what we're doing here. If we don't stand on that, we're fucked anyway. That's what I don't think you guys are getting. You just want to trade your soul and personal choice and go on record as a child of the devil so you can get a few more days, few more years, few more lifetimes in this realm clinging to physicality. There's our problem. So this is not going to change until folks submit to the truth, till they surrender people, places, and things over. You got to be given everything up to be given everything back, and it's got to be by your own will. If you don't do it by your own choice and your own will in order to seek the path and the way, you will have everything taken from you one way or the other in this life. I'd bet on it if I were you. That's been my experience. Even if it's a microcosmic experience of the macrocosm. Because if individually it hasn't happened to you yet, look at your collective experience, look at the macro. Look at your economic system, look at your political system, look at the World War, Cold War, Civil War. Whether you want to be aware of that or not, I know that upsets folks. That's fear pointing. No, that's reality. That's history. History repeats itself when we fail to learn its lessons. The last 4 years has proven we have not learned the lessons. You might argue we're worse than ever. Look for another protest near you. Look for another election. That's going to get done.
It's as if they all attended the same school of thought and studied under the same professor.
Some people would say this revolution is characterized by the fight of robots against human beings, and we will win this fight.
Professor Klaus Schwab was born in 1938 in Ravensburg, Germany, where Nazi crimes against humanity were committed. His father, Eugene Wilhelm Schwab, was the managing director of Escher Weiss Ravensburg, a company that used slave labor to manufacture weapons of war for the Third Reich.
And what did the Third Reich at that time say themselves and all their history show? That they were taking drugs and contacting aliens. This is their words, not mine. We're taking drugs and contacting aliens and spirits, and they're giving us a plan on how to make a Superman and how to kill everyone else. Really? What's that Superman going to look like? Well, it's basically going to be a being that's run by policy and code, merged with machines, and has Luciferics running through its veins. Fascinating. Wonder who this kingdom is going to be under. Maybe the scripture will tell you, oh, that's right, the kingdom of Shaitan will reign for 1,000 years once these slaves submit to their fear and to the devil rather than live the truth and faith that God reveals to them and their conscience reveals to them locally. So is it all coincidence that the history shows and they say out of their own mouths, we're contacting entities and they're telling us how to remake man in their own image, which completely is the antithesis of made in the image of God, the creational force that gave us conscience and free will? It's almost like we're living in a light, dark, good, evil simulation where you have to go beyond it in order to come back and address it, if that makes sense.
While Klaus's father was at the helm,
the Third Reich never lost that war. It just expanded the organization, and they aligned with folks around the world doing the same program.
Years later,
they're all
Klaus
avatars.
joined the board of
They're all
directors of
demonic.
Escher Weiss Ravensburg, where he played a key role in the development of South Africa's nuclear weapons program during the darkest years of the racist apartheid regime. Today, Klaus Schwab is the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum.
Well, the man down there says, I mean, that's in the news stack. I got a stack of things I was going to cover and tie into, the conspiracy theory. That's no longer theory because we know the facts. And again, they can only move forward with this because you folks are not on record. They control the world right now because the majority of you are not on record. You don't exist. The only thing that exists is a paper trail of you, a number, a disembodied voice. There is nothing on the court records or in cause and effect that produces the idea that man or woman is still existing in this realm. These people have the sovereignty. They have the control because you gave yourselves over to it. So yeah, there probably some folks might say creating biological events, weather system wars. At some point they're going to do, these are the architects of the drama that we live through at this time by giving all of our time, energy, attention, resource, and power over to them for them to create the best test and challenge and simulation ever for us to experience for our own good, of course. We got to know. How do you know? Well, you got to hit rock bottom first in order to recognize your bondage, your vice, your slavery, your addiction. I would know. You know the story. So that's where we're at here. I was a heroin addict. In order to get the conscious and awareness, I had to go through that test and challenge. The rest of you folks, it seems, are addicted to statute, policy, and code, governance, false religions, pharmaceuticals, and culture and media. So you're going to have to hit a rock bottom before you realize your vice, your bondage, your addiction, and then become ultra conscious and aware of what you need to be and do in order to change that dynamic. Good game, God. Like Talcott says, good game. Greatest simulation ever. There's no way to argue it. No matter how individuated you think you are, every single person is tied in and connected to this simulation at this time in conscious and awareness. It applies to all of us, micro and macro. And it's going to give all of us exactly what we need on an individuated level and collective level. It's the best fucking simulation computer game ever this life. And they want to tell me it's all disorder, it's all chaos, it's all randomness. Absolutely not. Just go outside, plant the weed, plant and look at it when it grows 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 leaves. If you can't figure out that there's inherent order in this simulation and that everything has cause and effect, I don't know what to tell you. You might just be like, one of these folks who are non-compass mentis. You might need a padded fucking cell. A lot of you folks say, there's no God, there's no order here. We're on a rock floating in space and we're all just making everything up. Okay. You might need a fucking padded cell in an asylum. You might be a danger to yourself and others.
Whatever political party you identify with, you are welcome here. Whatever color, culture, or creed you identify with, you are welcome here. If you are vaccinated or unvaccinated, you are welcome here. Now look around. Look around at these faces of this crowd. Take a good look around. This is America the Beautiful. And it's worth fighting for. You are worth fighting for. Your children are worth fighting for. Our freedom is worth fighting for.
My name is Mickey Willis. I'm a father, a husband, and an investigative filmmaker. I was raised in California by a single mom who did her best to care for 4 children on her own. As a child of the welfare state, I witnessed firsthand what happens to the psyche and spirit of those who become dependent on government assistance. Had my mother known the difference between a hand up and a hand out, she may have avoided the trap that kept us living on the edge of poverty, like so many people are today. Living in fear of losing her welfare assistance, Mom remained single and lonely until the day she passed, at 58 years young. Her life was cut short by a combination of toxic cancer treatments and grief. Just 34 days before she passed, her first son, my brother, was killed by a drug called AZT. Hundreds of thousands of innocent people died as a result of that prescribed poison. The pusher of AZT was none other than Dr. Anthony Fauci.
The reason that only one drug has been made available, AZT, because it's the only drug that has been shown to be safe and effective.
Well, it's certainly nice to know that the future looks brighter.
30 years later, there he was again. Same script, same actors, same performance.
These are safe and effective.
Knowing what that man had done in the 80s and 90s, I couldn't believe he was still in a position of such power. As the world descended into synchronized tyranny, I began to ask myself, how did they get everyone to go along with this?
Great. Oh, it feels so good. I know.
Obsessed with finding the answer, I began studying every moment in recorded history where masses of people devolved into a state of self-destruction. Down that rabbit hole was where I discovered the work of G. Edward Griffin.
Gentlemen, again let me say welcome to our home.
Since the 1960s, Mr. Griffin has been warning the world of the communist plot to overtake America. Yes, I know, communism.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
That thing we've all been told fell with the Berlin Wall.
How do you measure such an astonishing moment in history?
It was Napoleon who said, history is a lie agreed upon. Ironically, there's no evidence that Napoleon ever said that. As we're about to discover together, much of our history has been rewritten to serve an agenda that up until recently was invisible to the average person.
Now, Snafu Snaps, this is where I don't understand you in employing this, because this man speaking on communism taking over America and common law lands. Communism is a front for Satanism. What is it that folks are not getting? This is a spiritual realm first. And then we see a manifestation. All the isms are a front for Satanism, you could argue. in their corrupted form. They sound good and look good on paper. They work to some degree. The greatest lie is the one closest to truth. That's how the deceiver works. So it's not about communism taking over America and common law land. It's about Satanism. Serving something outside of the creational force and the law of God and the law of land and the law of conscience and love, you could say. This is kill, steal, destroy, divide, profiteer. It's the antithesis of that, right? So we need to go deeper with the understanding that this isn't just relegated to one ism. This is about a human condition. This is about spiritualism.
Average, like this guy. Everyone's talking about the necessity for change right now, particularly here in the US. Over the past few months, as a filmmaker, I've had the honor of documenting the political revolution. That was me in 2016, the year of my political awakening.
Come on board the political revolution.
I was touring with the Bernie Sanders campaign, creating media to help his grassroots movement grow. At that time, I knew very little about socialism and even less about democratic socialism. As it turned out, I wasn't the only one.
So my Bernie bros, how do we redistribute wealth through taxation without expanding the powers of the federal government?
Right, there you go, sir. Quick story says communists to the left, Zionist fascists to the right. And what do they all have in common? Left, right, and center. They're all satanic scum. They all rebuke the living God. They all rebuke the truth or true enough. They all rebuke a court of law and actual order through self-governance under the laws of God and conscience. They all perceive that there's going to be some collective system of people that get together and somehow make everything better by making everything worse. These are anti-life, anti-truth, anti-human scum, left, right, and center, because they're children of the lie. They're born into a system where they can't even see the borders in the cage, yet it's ever present.
Bernie
As confusion set in, I began turning my questions inward. Are they hypnotized? Am I hypnotized? That question, that one simple question, activated some strange sort of faith healing. Suddenly, I could see. How did I not see this before? There were so many red flags.
That's why we need communism. That's what we need.
I'm well aware that whether you're here in person or through the medium of motion picture, that for most of you, it's not easy to fit meetings of this kind into your schedules. But the fact that you are here indicates that you do have an interest in the subject. So in order not to waste any of your time, let's dispense with the usual preliminaries and get right down to the business at hand. We're going to examine in quite a bit of detail the communist theory and practice of revolution, particularly as applied to the United States. Now, this will not be something dreamed up out of thin air. This will be the strategy as taught by them and advocated by them in their own manuals, in their textbooks, and in their schools. The new program of the Communist Party on this subject has this to say. The term socialism describes but the first stage of a new society that in its full development is called communism. Socialism is a transitional stage.
Jim Carrey, everybody. I went out today and bought me some freedom-friendly Nikes. Yeah, that's right. That's a salute to Colin Kaepernick, to Nike. Congratulations on your fantastic work. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's good to be back. It's great to be
The Republicans are running with the word socialism. They're trying to say,
trying to scare people.
Scare people.
It's communism.
Venezuela, Trump's.
Now, this is where all the Luciferian archetypes who want to outshine God because they're so clever and cute, they're like stars, as they say. They all collect together, water seeks its own level, and they're all advocates of this radical individualism that somehow leads back to collectivism in its worst form. Is it always a coincidence? Hollywood is filled with stars, the brightest stars. They shine so brightly, just like the Luciferian archetype, overriding the law of God and creation. And true enough, for an appeal to emotion and individuated sense of self that is oftentimes created or skewed by the media manipulators themselves. This is where we're at. Cutting their genitals off with the little children, all the rest of it. This is all just manifestations of what we see as a Luciferian archetype. We are so bright. This is why I do the God of all media bit and on bit, because it's an aspect of self. Every being has a Luciferian streak, you could argue, where we start to think we're so great, we're so important, we're so powerful and inspiring. We can just completely shine so bright that we can overwrite the laws of creation and nature and equity and trust when it comes to beings of conscience that we used to call humans. Yeah, that's all like going away because we got feelings. We got wants and desires. There's other shit we don't want. And we're not as interested in truth as we are affinity groups where we can all get together and get what we want and need. Does it sound familiar? Jack Talcott and all the rest of you folks, you're Luciferian archetypes. Is it a coincidence that Jack Talcott regularly refers to Lucifer and says he was misunderstood? No, you're not misunderstood. You're not hated. It's very predictable. It's very obvious. You folks are caught up in pride and ego and a false sense of self. You appeal to your emotions and other people like you's emotions who identify with that archetype. And you want to overwrite truth or true enough with your brand of pseudo-spiritualism that only leads to yourself and everyone being worse off than when they started. Do you get it? This is a spiritual realm. There's only one self. It's holographic, as within, so without, as above, so below. There's no escaping it from the beginning of time. Your only escape, in a sense, is recognition of it and co-creation out of it. The way out is in. The way forward is through. They want to continue to sit on the edges and the periphery of an actual, organic, authentic, spiritual walk in creation where you observe yourself with true humbleness and humility before the creational force and the facts of the matter. That pride and that ego is going to go before the fall, and we're on the precipice. You folks are going to get communized and collectivized out, and all you loser failures are going to get stimulus at the expense of everyone else who's co-creative, artistic, and productive. You folks aren't shit. And you'll sit right there and you'll love every minute of it as you use your mechanisms given to you by that force in order to create a false sense of equality so you can create a power differential and take what you didn't earn or what's not rightly yours. Kill, steal, destroy, deceive, corrupt, co-opt. There he is. Speak his name and the devil appears.
Oh.
Interesting how they're always sitting around watching and listening to me so they can soak up that good game, remix it, pervert it, corrupt it, co-opt it, and feed it back to their self-identified Luciferian audience who are also deceived and identified. Isn't it fascinating? They can't create anything on their own. They have no internal fire that burns brightly. All they have is that false Luciferian light that they put on and project and pretend with. That false love that turns into true hate very quickly when they don't get what they want. See how it works? Don't want more toxic negativity. Well, I'll help you out. I'm going to ban you. Now you can't come back. Okay? Since you show every day that you're dishonorable, bad faith, untrustworthy, and inequitous, like most children of the false light. And no matter how you act with me and treat me here, as soon as I go over to your place, you disrespect me, you throw me out, you disregard whatever I'm saying, your whole countenance completely changes because you're a shape-shifting, duplicitous shaitan. And I know you folks pretty much energetically when I first meet you. I just can't get a handle on what the actual personality disorder is. And I should just know better now to stay away from the psychological and the clinical language and to just go back to the religious archetype and the spiritual intuition. Because every one of you folks, De Castro, like I don't even want to go down the names, but every single one of you folks who I've met in this venue, the majority of you, my senses go off almost immediately. And I go, this person's heart is corrupt. They're like far from purity and pure conscious and awareness. They're just really desirous and have some want and some ambition and motivation to like overthrow something else and win and get something they've never had before. A lot of pride, a lot of ego, a lot of ambition, little understanding, wisdom, application, and results in truth. That's concerning. So I almost immediately know these folks just by the feel. And then by the time I see and hear, I go, motherfucker, it was right again. I always want to doubt myself. I always want to project onto me what they gaslight me with, that I'm just a paranoid, angry, bitter, resentful, hateful man, that I'm not open-minded and open-hearted enough to be objective and receive people based on who and what they are at their core. I think I am. And it's just very interesting how certain folks never have a problem with me and other folks from the gate, my energy and my intuition says, don't trust this one because they're corrupt. And the more I spend time with them and play the long game, the more they show me and tell me who and what they are, and I'm forced to believe it. That's the sensibility. I can't explain that. I have to presume that's put there by God. It's whatever else is in the animals as well. Go to an animal and ask it. I don't mean actually ask it. I mean, bring it around to people who have corrupt heart and see if that animal doesn't start going off and going crazy. Because I've seen it and everyone's seen it. There's folks who are corrupt. They're dirty. They got dark energy. They're predatory and deceptive. And you bring them around a damn house dog and it'll tell you what it is. There's people the dogs go to every time and sit by and they can't get enough of. There's people they stay away from and they look at them weird and they keep an eye on them. Because intuitively, instinctually, they know they're scum. That's you. See, I'm not civilized and sophisticated. I'm a low-life animal just like that house dog. I haven't been domesticated and broken yet. I still got a modicum of instinct and intuition left in me. And it just rings like a bell in the presence of some of you folks. And the longer I watch you and witness with you, the more I see why that thing goes off. Everyone and everything has that, unless you're broken. And it's there to keep us away from devilish scum. And it's there to unite us with folks who have a pure heart or some level of pure motivation and intention. Doesn't mean they're incorruptible. Doesn't mean they're not subject to the same seduction and the same temptations. Just seems to be a different intention, application, and outcome the majority of the time. Something's different. Can't even really explain it. Get back to it. Let's watch all the Luciferian archetype personalities shining so bright in their cleverness and intellectualism that they're going to overwrite the God of creation and the law of the land and the law of conscience and true love and true care with some false light, false love, and false care. You know, the political kind. You know, the kind where you just got to kind of talk like this while you deliver the message because you can't even really sell it because you really don't believe in what the fuck you're saying and you got no conviction and integrity. Every one of these people has to talk like this when they deliver their bullshit message. It's their subconscious ringing out that they don't even believe what they're saying. They're being avatared. They're demons. There's no other way to look at it. If you give them their way, everyone will be worse off. If you give Jack Talcott his way, everyone's worse off. We've shown it over and over again. You give all of them their way that they want so badly and cling to and fight for every day, all day, and everything's worse off. They just can't comport their will to the will, right? They can't understand if we just do the will in conscience, everyone's better off. If we continue to do our will in our fallen worldly ways, everyone's worse off. The problem is you guys got an easy time talking about that dynamic, but a hard time recognizing how it occurs in you and around you. Self-awareness. That's what we're lacking in. Everyone's redeemable. Everybody knows the dynamic. We all are just deceived in seeing how we're a part of creating it and furthering it.
Says we're going to be living in Venezuela.
I grew up in Canada. I'm here to tell you that this bullshit line that you get on all of the political...
Is it a coincidence that every one of these people, by the way, just as the days go on, just, you know, get more and more dark circle eyes and pale skin? I mean, if I'm getting that, it's because I'm eating nothing but pizza and pasta. I got like this issue with nutrition. That's my devil. That's my demon. Right, you could argue. So if I wind up getting more and more pale with dark circled eyes, I think it's because I haven't tamed my demon of eating pizza and pasta rather than fruits and vegetables.
Hey, wear your seatbelt adult, but whatever makes you feel safe. That's great. One
Are people looking at you? Are they people you know?
Mm-hmm.
Do you get like paid for your views?
No, not really. I'm not monetized.
Oh, where do you live? Do you live like in Hollywood?
I'm right by Toronto. Like Cooper, you know? Literally right. Yeah, I'm literally right by there.
Literally, like, if you want to say like it's cool, like I'll get you Uber or whatever you want to do.
No, I'm down.
Right here, like I don't want to get these things.
Yeah, I'm down. Whatever you want to do, you're driving.
So we're sitting right there at the bar. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm down whenever, yeah. Okay. You tell me, I'm good whenever. Holy shit balls.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and they got go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up. Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Know it, I can feel it, yo, they're having sex. in, I'm trying to fuck. Let me in, I'm trying to fuck. Let me in, I'm trying to fuck now. I said, you gotta let me have it, let me get a party now. Hey, yeah, baby, let me have it, let me get it now.
Right. Well, sir, that's your problem, not mine. Right. Geometry started with hate before you become like them. Right.
And I just know it, I can feel it, yo, they're having sex. Know what I can feel it, yo, they're having sex. Let me in, I'm trying to fuck. Let me in, I'm trying to fuck. Let me in, I'm trying to fuck now. You gotta let me have it, let me get a ball now. Hey, yeah, baby, let me have it, let me get it out.
Well, sir, that's your problem, not mine. Right.
Man, I just know it, I can feel it, yo, they're having sex.
I told you, bro.
Know what I can feel it, yo, they're having sex.
In the form of a live stream right now.
Let me in, I'm trying to fuck. Let me in, I'm trying to fuck. Let me in, I'm trying to fuck now.
Alright, I'm out of here, y'all. Much love. I am completely insane and I need therapy. Therapy, as Paul on Slate says. Therapy, folks. That's THURRAPY. Alright, a quickie before I leave here.
You fucking turds? I already got his address.
My friend, slavery and genocide, and I think you too. You, Drew, you're caught up, bro.
No, that's good. That's good. That's right next door to him. Drive to your house, drive to his house.
Going against the police officers, going with the easier, softer fucking thing. It's like just being a fucking man and seeing the slavery and genocide.
I'm out, y'all. I love you.
Do something about it instead of being a bitch. Getting me more deep for the conspiracy.
Okay.
All right.
And them church folks don't want to smell that weed.
See, 48 years old, I got. It's all good, man.
Oh, wow, I'm an idiot. I'm dumb. I'm really dumb, but I really gotta go. So, 47 minutes and 47 seconds seems appropriate. Goodness gracious. Goodbye. Goodbye.